Good evening, ladies. I've been asked a lot about how to apply Jamberry nail wraps to extremely curvy or domed fingers. And I actually have fingernails that are both domed this way, as you can see, as well as extremely curvy. And I know that this can present a really big issue in terms of lifting at the corners or puckering and bunching at the tips and sides. So I have found a way that works extremely well for me, and I'm hoping that it will work well for you as well. So the first step in any Jamberry application, whether you have curved nails or whether you have more flat nails, is to make sure that you prep your nails properly. So the first thing that I suggest you to do is to remove your cuticle and your hidden cuticle. So we actually have a cuticle that runs all the way around the edge of our nail on all sides, and normally we just push back this cuticle. We need to actually get rid of the rest of it as well. So I use the Jamberry cuticle remover, and it's a simple brush application, and I've already done it, so I'm just going to sort of explain it to you. But what you would do is brush on the gel onto your nail, and then simply, before it dries, which it does dry pretty quickly, you want to use either an orange stick, or I like the metal cuticle pusher, and you simply just gently scrape the nail and all the way around and push back that cuticle. I even scrape just a little bit at the tips because I have a little bit of bumpy nails. They are going away slowly as I've been using Jamberry, but I scrape the whole thing just very gently. You don't want to like dig into your nail, or you can cause ridges and damage. So just gently scrape away that cuticle. And then after that's done, you actually want to wash your hands. So I actually use a gentle dishwashing soap. I find that it cuts a little bit of the grease, as if you have any kind of oily hands at all, it will take away any of the oils that may bleed onto your nail. And then after that, once that's all done, I usually give it just a quick little buff with the Jamberry buffer. Again, very gentle, just to remove any bumps or anything else that may be on your nail that will make it a bit more of a rough surface. Once that's done and all the cuticles have been removed, pushed back, and your nail is clean, I go ahead and I dry out and clean my nail and the nail beds with the Jamberry prep cleanser. You can also use alcohol if you don't have the cleanser at home. So I just give a couple pumps there, and then simply just clean the nail. Make sure again we're removing any dirt or any oils that may have come into contact with your nail. We don't want oils or dirt at all, as that is bad for the adhesive side of the wrap. So there we go, nice clean prep nail. Now I've already pre-cut my Jamberry wrap. As you can see, the great thing about these is they are vinyl wraps, so you can cut it in any shape you want. I have a little bit more of a round pointed nail, so I just always double check that it's going to fit nice and evenly on that nail before I go ahead and start applying it. So what I do is I turn on my Jamberry heater and just make sure it's nice and warm. You can tell it's pretty quiet. I have my puppies next to me and they are not even fazed by this at all. So the next step is to remove the Jamberry wrap from the adhesive, or from the backing. You do not want to touch the adhesive side of the wrap with your fingers, or it can cause dirt or oils to sort of affect the adhesive side. So what I do is I just grab the wrap with some tweezers. You could also use an orange stick. I find the tweezers are much better for me as I have a little bit more of a handle on them. Then I'm going to come over to my heater, hold it just a little bit away from the heater for a few seconds until I see that it just gets a little like wiggly. And then what I'm going to do is apply the wrap directly to my nail, as close to the cuticle as I can without touching the cuticle, because that will cause some lifting, and as close to the center as I can. So it's a little far over, so I'm just going to lift it up and move it over a little bit. I think that's pretty center. Let me just move it one more time. It's a little hard to see when I'm a little further away from my nail than I normally am. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to push from the middle of the cuticle all the way up to the tip. And then I'm going to push from side to side. So this is part of the normal Jamberry application that you would get from the Jamberry application video. So once I've done that, to avoid getting buckling on the side that is starting to already happen, I'm first going to press down with my cuticle pusher, and I'm gonna again start from the middle and work my way out and try and kind of push out any of those bubbles. Always trying to push them out and up, because you want to get them out of the wrap rather than if I push in, then I'm just pushing the air bubbles into my wrap. So I'm gonna push these bubbles out on all these sides. I even pull back my finger skin just a little bit so that I can get it to the corners of my nail without touching, again, the skin or the cuticle. Once I've done that, you'll see I have this lovely little tail at the end. I'm just going to pull gently, kind of up and inwards, not too far inwards, on both sides, just to stretch the wrap out here, to kind of pull out any other buckles that I might have. And then I do the same thing just in the center, so I pull kind of up and down. You'll see that it's kind of stretched out a little bit. Then what I do is I take my Jamberry scissors, or any kind of nail scissor that you have, or a small scissor, and I just simply cut the excess off of the wrap. So you'll see there's a little bit of wrap left on my nail, but not a lot. And the biggest key here, that I think this is a step a lot of people forget, and a step I forgot for a really long time, is I let the wrap cool down. If you file the wrap while it's hot, it is just going to lift and it's going to buckle, because it's cooling and sort of shrinking back to sort of a normal state for itself. So we don't want it to buckle at all. We're just going to keep it nice and cool. So while we do that, I'll just let you know, for myself, when I use any of the metallic or sparkled wraps, I do need to be careful how much I heat it. I've kind of been playing around with that a little bit. You do need to still make sure that you heat it enough that you can stretch it. If the wrap is too cold, you can't get that stretch happening on the tips, and therefore I get a lot more buckling and I lift after a few days. So now this is pretty cool. What I'm going to do is take my nail file, and I'm just going to file in a downward motion at the tip of my nail, so that it cuts the wrap off in the same shape as my nail. I used to be really slow at this because I didn't want to go too hard with the filing. And you don't want to file too hard, but there's sort of like a happy medium that you can find. I also at the very end will file just at a slight angle to get a little bit of bare tip, like a little bit of bare nail at the tip, so that it doesn't pull up. Because sometimes I find if there's just a little bit of wrap hanging over after I've filed, that it'll pull up. So I just make sure there's a very, I'm not sure if you can see that, but a very tiny bit of nail wrap left over. And you'll see that on my thumb here. There's just a little tiny bit of nail left over without wrap on it. Okay, and then the last step that I do that is not part of the original Jamberry application video, but works very well for me, is the baggie method. So we take a Ziploc baggie or sandwich bag, and I simply just wrap it around my nail and make sure it's not extremely tight, but make sure that it sort of makes a seal around the wrap and around the nail. And then I simply heat up the wrap with the bag just for a little bit. You don't want to hurt yourself. It should never get too hot that it hurts. Just kind of leave it on the end there. Let it cool a little bit, and then take the baggie off. And then I usually just smush down the tips a little bit more running my other finger along the end. And one more time just with the cuticle pusher because we did heat it up. Push along the edges nice and gently. And there you have it. Nice application for extremely domed and curvy nails. And I should get about 12 to 14 days out of these if all goes well. But this already looks like a great application for myself. So hopefully that helps you girls. And if you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact me because I always would love to help share any other ideas that I can. Okay, great. Have an awesome night and bye.